If you expect yourself to quickly get better after leaving the narcissist or after going no contact and not be affected by what has happened in the past, you are setting yourself up for a lot of pain and disappointment. Why? Let me explain in today's episode. Hi, I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional, and in this episode, you will know 5 reasons why you feel worse after leaving the narcissist and not immediately better. If that sounds interesting, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel by pressing the subscribe button and push that bell icon to stay updated with everything latest that I post over here. Let's get started. Number 1, you have experienced traumatic brain injury. It might sound an exaggeration, but it's not, because narcissistic abuse changes the anatomy of your brain. Think about it this way. In a narcissistic relationship, you stay in a constant state of hypervigilance all the time. 24/7 you are surviving. You're jumping from one state of survival to the other. One time you would be fighting, the other time you would be running away, the other time you'd be freezing, because it is so overwhelming that you feel helpless before the situation. You are constantly supposed to survive the narcissist's unpredictable abuse. You do not know where you are in this relationship. You do not know what your status is. You do not know how connected you are with them or how connected they are with you. Because one moment they would be Dr. Jekyll, the other moment they would be Mr. Hyde. You do not know exactly who they are, what you are with in the relationship. If that is the kind of adversity you have to face for years, not only months, for years, for hours. If that is your way of living and functioning, how would you not be impacted? How would your nervous system not be destroyed at this point? How would you be functioning properly, or how could you just become fine, get better like this right after leaving? The multifaceted impact of narcissistic abuse changes your brain, changes your nervous system, and consequently changes your biochemistry, and then changes you as a person, changes the way you function, changes the way you think, changes the way you feel. All of you is changed, and you just become a bunch of coping mechanisms, a bunch of alterations that take time to heal. Talking about your brain, amygdala had to change in size. Hippocampus had to change in size. Your prefrontal cortex had to change in size collectively as an adaptation to make it more possible for you to keep surviving. If that had not happened, you would not have been able to survive the adversity. You would not be here listening to my voice right now. So that had to happen. And now you're carrying those adaptations, those alterations with you, and you are going through this aftermath. You need to know and understand that this kind of alteration in your brain, in your nervous system, in your body needs time to change, needs time to heal, needs time to get better. And it's not easy. Number 2, you have developed self-destructive habits that you can't get rid of. When you are in a relationship with a narcissist, you punish yourself because you are gaslit into believing that you are responsible for the narcissist's awful behavior. You start punishing yourself by engaging in self-destructive behaviors like addiction to alcohol, cigarettes, food, overspending, sex. Anything is possible here. These addictions basically dull the inner ache and keep you surviving, but at the same time they become a part of your nature. And when you leave the relationship, it is definitely not going to be easy for you to get rid of them like this. You would need time, you would need resources, you would need other ways of coping for the nervous system to balance it out, for you to process the pain, for you to let go of the burdens that you still carry. So you have to be compassionate again. If you face these struggles, if you have these habits, if you have these addictions, it's fine for now. It's okay. Just understand that this is what makes it more complicated for you to heal, but it happened for a reason. Number 3, your inability to forgive yourself and the anger you have towards yourself makes it complicated for you to grieve. When you eventually realize what happened to you, you feel extremely disappointed and angry with yourself. You blame yourself for not seeing it and not leaving earlier. You feel like you are a fool, or you get stuck in this self-directed anger in which only you burn and not them. You find it really hard to let go of the self-blame. The dynamics of a narcissistic relationship are quite complex. You did not know what you know now. You did not have the awareness that you have now, so it was not easy for you to leave. They made it quite complicated for you even to think of leaving. Also, you were trauma bonded. And when you're trauma bonded, you have a lot of cognitive dissonance. And when you have cognitive dissonance, you can't think straight because you are confused between these two sides of the narcissist. One side is quite good and angelic, the other side is quite monstrous, and you really wonder which one of them is real. So that is what kept you stuck, and that is what you need to understand in order to forgive yourself and release that anger. There's only one thing that you need to feel towards yourself right now, and that is compassion, and a lot of it. Number 4, complex post-traumatic stress response or disorder. Victims of narcissistic abuse are very likely to show typical and atypical signs of complex post-traumatic stress. You struggle with typical symptoms like chronic self-doubt, hypervigilance, exaggerated startle, emotional dysregulation, suicidality, and atypical symptoms like cognitive dissonance and trauma bonding. You have experienced chronic trauma. Collectively, whatever your issue or struggle is after narcissistic abuse, be it extreme grief or intense sadness that you can't seem to get rid of, or rumination or insomnia, whatever it is, collectively you would term it as complex post-traumatic stress response, because the situation that you have survived was complex in nature. So naturally you had to develop complex post-traumatic response as a response to that complex state. So it makes sense why it is this way. And when you talk about complex post-traumatic stress, we talk about complex trauma, and that means a lot of time, a lot of healing. Most importantly, it means that it won't go away like this with time. It takes work. It takes a lot of inner work. You have to sit with it. You have to process that grief. You have to let that sadness come up, and you have to face it. You have to sit with those memories for you to be able to resolve it, for you to be able to know what happened to you and make peace with it. Number 5, complex flashbacks. This is one of the most difficult struggles as well. Trauma caused by narcissistic abuse includes toxic shame, persistent guilt, and the critical voice in your head. They appear as flashbacks, a condition that develops a life of its own. You feel like you are drowning in a certain emotion while experiencing a flashback. You can be judging and blaming yourself for being worthless, comparing yourself to others, worrying about the future, catastrophizing, and so on. It appears to occur against your will. If you lose yourself, just know that you are in a flashback. And these flashbacks are quite involuntary. They come and go whenever they want to. Something in the environment can just remind you of the relationship or what happened in there, and here you are having a flashback now. All of those memories are flooding your conscious awareness, and you feel like you're back there reliving the same memory. So these are the classical signs of trauma, which cannot go with time, and you can't expect them to get better right away. It takes time, it takes patience. I know I'm repeating myself at this point, but you have to remember time, patience, compassion, and a lot of support is what is going to help you heal. That was it for today's episode. I hope you found it helpful. Let me know in the comments, and I'll talk with you very soon. Till then, let the healing begin.